Hey, it's Guilherme, and today we are going to take a look on a new feature that came with Godot 3.1, which is class names. Class names came with the implementation of type GDScript, and with them we can use inheritance, type checks, and also add nodes directly from the add node interface. Here we have a platforming demo, and the gun that you see on the player was created using inheritance. In this case, it's a pistol that inherits from the class gun, and we also have a shotgun that we're going to see later. Besides that, we also have some enemies, and the damage that you see being applied to the enemy is only applied if the bullet collides with a body that is an enemy, and this is done by using type checks. So if we look on our game tree instead of our editor, you can see that we have a node here which has a different icon than all of the others, and this is due to the fact that on our player script we have a class name of player and we assign to it an icon. Now if we select our game node and we click on add a new node and we search for player, you can see that right below our kinematic body 2D we have the player script, and it has again the custom icon that we assigned to it. If we double click on this player node, it's going to be added to our tree, but keep in mind that this is not a complete scene, so we are still missing the collision shape and also the sprite of our player, and this can be confirmed by this warning that we see on the right side of our player 2. Just as a quick note, I don't see myself using this functionality too much, but it is there nonetheless in case you want to use it. I'm going to delete this player 2 that we just created, and I'm going to open the player script. Right on the top of our script, you can see that we have the extends kinematic body 2D, and this is normal because our player is extending in fact the kinematic body 2D. But right below it, we have the class name keyword. After that, we define the name of this class. In this case, it's going to be player. And if you want to, this is optional, we can define an icon to it. So right after the comma, we specify a path that leads to the icon that we want to set to this node in specific. This icon that we are setting here has to be the correct size. If you go to the assets and open the sprite section, you can see that we have the blue character.png and also the blue character icon.png. This is because they have different sizes, and if we were to assign just the blue character.png as an icon of our player, if you look on our tree, the icon of the player is way bigger than all of the others, so this is not automatically set to you by Godot. This means that you're gonna have to create your own icon and set it to the correct size so it doesn't look too big on your tree. Now looking at our game tree, you can see that our player has a pistol as a child of it. So let's open the pistol script, and here we are extending a script called gun. So let's open that script by searching for gun. And this is the script that both our pistol and our shotgun are inheriting from. In this script, we are getting references to all of the nodes that we need, also exporting some variables, setting the direction in which we're going to shoot, and also checking for inputs. The last thing that we do here is define a virtual function which is called shoot, which is going to be then implemented by both the pistol and also our shotgun. You can see that here on our gun script, we are already doing something in this function, which is playing the shoot animation on our animation player. And if we open our pistol script once again, you can see that all of this script is doing is implementing the shoot function. And here we are also calling shoot on our inherited script, in this case the gun, which is then going to play our animation, and then we instantiate and initialize our bullet. Notice that here we are not defining a class name to our pistol, and that is because we don't need to do so if we are just extending from a script that has been already created. We could of course use the class name here, but this is not necessary, so there's no need to have the class name on our pistol script. Now if we search for our shotgun, you can see that the script is pretty much the same, but we have some new exported variables, and inside of our shoot function, instead of just instantiating one bullet and shooting it straight, we are actually instantiating several of them and giving to them a random spread so they don't all go to the same direction. Now I'm going to open the pistol scene here, and you can see that the pistol is inheriting from another scene, which is the gun scene. This is not mandatory. You don't have to inherit from the same scene if you are inheriting from the same script that a scene has. The only reason why we are doing this here is because it's convenient to have all of the same nodes that we have inside of our gun, instead of our pistol. But keep in mind that this is not a mandatory thing that you have to do. Now lastly, let's go back to our game scene and open our enemy script. Inside of the enemy script, we have once again a class name, which is the enemy, and one function that is used to damage the enemy. As I said before, the bullet is using this class name to check if it is actually hitting an enemy, and if it is, it's going to cause damage on this enemy that it just hit. So let's open our bullet script. And here on our ready function, we are connecting our onBodyEntered function to our bodyEntered signal. When that function is called, we are first going to check if the body that we just collided with is not our parent, because we don't want to do anything if that's the case, so we're just going to return from the function. And in the case that this body is indeed an enemy, and this is how you make type checks using class names, we use the is keyword and then we pass to it the name of the class that we want to check. And if that's the case, we're then going to call damage on our body because we know that it is indeed an enemy. Now let's remove our pistol from our player and give to it a shotgun so we can see how it behaves. Play our game once again. Our shotgun behaves pretty much the same as any gun. The only difference is how it behaves when it is shooting. As you can see, it shoots several bullets, but we still can kill enemies and jump around and do anything that we would. When we are using class names here in GDQuest, we have a few conventions that we follow. One of them, and it's something that you saw here in the video, is we only use class names when it's needed. We don't go around adding class names to all of our scripts unless it is necessary. And one more thing that is nice to have is to keep the same name of your script files, the name of their class names. To give you an example of why this is nice to have, I'm gonna go back to the script tab and select our bullet. Here inside of our body enter, we can see that we are checking the body to see if it is an enemy. And if I wasn't the one that wrote this script and I wanted to go to the enemy script, I'd probably try to control click here, but I wouldn't be able to, this is not working. So I would have to search for that file. And my first instinct would be to come to the file system and search for enemy. Here, as we kept the same name of the class name as the name of the file, it was easy to find it. But imagine that instead of enemy, the file name was something like badguy.gd. Well, then I would have to dig much more to finally find the file in which this class name has been defined. So those are two nice conventions to have when you are working with class names inside of Godot. And with that, I'm gonna say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. As always, this project is available on GitHub. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one.